So I just pulled up to the barn here Saturday morning. I thought I'd do. I thought we'd break it up into 3 segments this week. Justin had said to me, 3 segments might be a little easier for people to absorb, if you will. That makes sense, I suppose. I don't have a problem with it either way, and I'm certainly not going to say that I'm right and somebody's wrong. So I guess it makes sense if there's 3 segments. That would be, we'll do the racehorses and a little bit of news, and then we'll break the babies up into two different groups. Makes it easier for you to find your horses, and if you want to watch all 3, that's great too. So so it's cold here today. It snowed last night. There's still lots of snow not lots of snow on the ground, but there's snow on the ground. The sun's out, but guns not so out. It's about -4 right now in Campbellville, so a little chilly. Decent night of racing last night. Decent week. Few little troubles. Redwood again and McKinnon and Promise Blue Chip last night. I started to blame Promise Blue Chip last night. She get jammed up about 4 times, and she does tuck her head, so I would be shocked if she didn't shut her air off a little bit. Last night I was I was hoping we'd take her to Woodbine. There'd be some decent flow, decent fractions, and she'd be able to follow along, get a good mile. We had her back in to go this coming Wednesday, and I really just wanted to get a tightener in her. She did well, great. And instead, she got jammed up, finished 9th, and paced 58 on a shitty night. So that wasn't good. Redwood again and McKinnon. We scoped them both. It was funny. Both these horses trained down pretty good. Schooled good, qualified okay. Redwood schooled and qualified great, and McKinnon qualified okay. I think our expectations for McKinnon were a little tempered. I thought he'd be good. I'd actually sold some shares to a friend of mine, one of our clients who I got to know pretty good over the last 2 years, right before he raced, and I felt bad about the way he raced his first start, and then he raced worse his second start. Now those horses, we scoped them after they raced. They scoped good. Took their blood. The blood wasn't that bad. Jason called me Tuesday morning and forwarded the blood and said, geez, these bloods don't look that bad on these horses, yet they race terrible. Now, when we did scope them, young horses, they'll have what vets would call pimples in their throat, right? Just irritation in their throat, but it's mostly juvenile stuff, and you see it from time to time quite a bit in young horses, and it's not something that you would think. Obviously, it's an airway constriction of some sort, but minimal to medium, I would suspect, in some horses. Now, Redwood, again, has a lot. And this is 3 times we scoped him, and the vet has made specific reference to these pimples, as they call them, on 3 different occasions. Now, the problem is, the things you would generally treat those pimples with, you can't race on them. So you can treat these horses with bronchodilators and stuff, but man, oh man, Jason said, well, the vet prescribed this or the vet prescribed that, and I cautioned him. I said, be careful, because with the sensitivity and the testing right now, withdrawal times are a little skewed, and nobody's breaking the rules. You're well within the rules to use these medications, but there's withdrawal times for them, and mistakes happen. And that's the last thing you want. A bronchodilator is like a class 1 or 2, I believe, which would be a huge problem for both the stable and certainly for Jason. So what we decided, he called me back and he said, well, what if we do this? What if we treat them for a week on these medications? Because withdrawal times are like 72 and 96 hours in Ontario. What if we treat them for a week, school them, and see if there's a real improvement, and if there is, set forth a plan. You can change their diet. You can change their bedding. You can put them close to the door. You can make sure they get extra field time. Once you can recognize the issues that are causing a horse to race poorly, as a trainer, you should be able to combat those and get the horse racing well. So the issues for both of these horses have been a little elusive, but I think the plan he set forth was pretty smart, actually. And I think he hit it right on the head. I think we'll treat them aggressively with the medications, with the bronchodilators for a week. And then we will school them and see if they school better. Now, the second part of that is, this industry is a fantastic industry, but what makes it a fantastic industry is knowing that when you go to the gate, you can win. But unfortunately, the flip side of that is knowing that when you go to the gate, you can lose. And the ups and downs are pretty cool, but at the same time, the downs really suck. So I think we're all cognitive of the realistic way this industry is, and sometimes my expectations are a little more. I wouldn't say overly optimistic. Well, yeah, I would say they're overly optimistic. I tend to see the good in people, and I tend to see the good in horses. And to bring you, a pessimistic view of what we're doing and how we're doing it, I think would be counterproductive to the whole situation. I'm not a pessimistic person. If I was, there wouldn't be any thestable.ca, and there certainly wouldn't be 100 horses and 426 owners. So, for me, I think that moving forward, it's very simple. I looked at, you go watch a horse like Redwood race and you're down in the dumps, you're like, Jesus Christ, things are terrible. And then you go out and the horses race good after that. And really looking at last week, the only horses that raced bad last week, unless I'm missing something, was McKinnon, Redwood. Sally DeVee had a clunker last week, but threw in a great race last night in London. Just got beat. We obviously changed her classification a little bit and put her in a condition claimer where she would do some damage. I thought she raced really, really well last night. Could have won. Got a little interfered with, I thought, halfway down the lane, maybe. But it was hard to tell because Sally DeVee was running in and the guy in the front end was running out. Just watching Peregrine Blue Chip train right now. She looks good. So, who is that? Jewel. Anyway, yeah, I mean, to me, the only clunkers I saw last week were McKinnon, Redwood again, and then Promise Blue Chip last night. Now, Promise Blue Chip was off 3 weeks and really had a shitty race, so we'll give her a bye. She's back in to go Wednesday. I know the vet's coming today to scope her. We're going to see if there's some pimples in there and make sure that she didn't shut her air off. You'll be able to see bruising on the palate if she did shut her air off. That's a problem. It's something you don't want to see. So, those are those three. So moving forward, we're gonna break into the racehorses now. I have them written down. Now, last week I had a number of messages. I missed Book the Bet. How the hell did I miss Book the Bet last week? Book the Bet raced great last week. It jammed in behind me was Sally DeVee, who we just talked about, and got out late, ran over my wheel, got out late, and charged through the inside. I thought she raced great. I thought she raced fantastic. Anyway, she didn't get in this week, but she raced well last week. So for the people that own her, I do apologize. I'm one of them, and I forgot to include Book the Bet. She raced great though last week. Mystical Mission raced decent last week, finished third in the mud. He's in to go tonight at Woodbine, hopefully looking for he'll like a firmer track better. I know it sounds silly because Mystical Mission, I mentioned a couple of videos ago, his feet are sore and they are. He doesn't really like a deep track though. He'd like a firmer track. So I think he'll actually get along well tonight on this track in this weather. Sally DeVee, touched on her. She raced fantastic last night in London. Ended up getting away about 5th. Almost got run into at the quarter pole. Ended up second over. Beat a nose ahead at the wire. She raced great. I thought she raced very, very good. Airway finished second again last week. He's in to go Monday at Western Fair Raceway. He's in to go. Now, I'm not driving him. Robert Shepard is. Robert Shepard's going to drive Airway, and I am going to drive Broadway Maya at Woodbine in the straight nominals of 3. We took her out of the condition claimer, where she's been pummeling them pretty good, and put her into a condition race to see how she'd fare at Woodbine this week. I think she's a good fit, especially coming out of 4 wins in her last 5 starts, and moving to Woodbine, with a lot of confidence, and she's sharp right now. So I would hope Broadway Mile will race good on Monday night. As I said, I'm just watching Peregrine Blue Chip train right now. She's just finishing up her mile. She actually looks good. I haven't seen her in a week or so. For the people that are involved with Broadway Maya, for the people that have been following the stable and know or sorry, Broadway Maya, Peregrine Blue Chip. Peregrine Blue Chip was one of 2 horses we staked to everything last year. I really thought this was a top filly, and trained her down. She was just too big. Turned her out. Turned her out for the fall. She trained in 2-1, schooled in 2-1, and then we just turned her out. Brought her back. Trained her down. She wasn't that good training down, making breaks and getting out of gear. So we had her fluoroscoped again, and sure enough, she had a chip in an ankle, 2 ankles. So we had them removed. Gave her the time, brought her back, and I saw her 3 weeks ago, and I wasn't wowed. I wasn't super optimistic, if you will, but I wanted to see what she'd do. So I watched her again the next week. She was better. Now, since then, I haven't seen her go. Jason had told me a couple of times he thought she went good, and I just saw her train a minute ago. I thought she looked really, really good. So good for her. I'm about to watch Master Saver train here with Kevin. Now, Master Saver's been off for a little while. We gave him a little time. He said he trained good last Saturday. We had we'd sold off Broadway last Saturday morning, and I told him, I said, "This is Master Saver. You better come out swinging today. You went out and trained great that day." So he's pretty aware of his surroundings, if you will. He trained well last Saturday. I'm going to watch him train here in a second. He looks good out there right now. So Master Saver's getting close, I would suspect. Probably go a mile 2.6, 2.5 with him today. School next week, qualify the week after. So I'm interested to see how he's going to look. American League finished 4th last night. The track was really, really hard. That horse got an old quarter crack left front, and you could see he was just right on the left line last night, leaving the gate. And I knew halfway down the stretch, I said, "Look, Jesus, the track was just really biting on him." I think I'd said to Jason after, I said, maybe, what do you think about a set of razor pads or something on that colt? I don't drive that horse. I still own a big chunk of him, but he hates me, that horse, and I've never really been a big fan of his, to be honest. And this year he's racing great. First, I looked last night, 7 starts this year. First start he was out of the top 3. It was last night. He finished 4th. So American League has really put it all together this year. Really, really impressed with what I've seen from him. And although you could tell he was flat last night, you could tell he was trying, which is something I'd never ever thought I'd say. He was just so sour last year, but he's really turned into a nice horse this year, so good for him. Fan the Flames. I had a couple people ask me what had happened with Fan the Flames, and it's frustrating with Fan the Flames because I think the horse is racing great. Left out of the 8 hole, finished 3rd, fought off 2 horses down the lane to finish 3rd, and I really think that people believe like he should be trotting in 55 or 56 now. When you look at this horse, when you just look at this horse, he's just a good-looking horse, but he's very immature. He's big, tall colt. You can see he's still got a lot of muscle to put on and a lot of weight to put on, but a really big colt. And, for him to move like that and race like that, I was happy. I own a piece of Fan the Flames also, a small piece, but nevertheless a piece, and I was very, very happy with what I saw with Fan the Flames on Thursday night. So, for me, I don't know if people are displeased with Fan the Flames. I'm sorry, I guess. But I'm not displeased with Fan the Flames. I think he's racing good. I think he's trying hard, and I think he's maturing and becoming a better horse every time he steps on the track. I don't know what more you can ask than that. I know the people are hoping he'll go faster. I think that'll come with time. You show me a horse that tries with a big, strong frame that's intelligent, and I'll show you a horse that'll get better every time he goes on the track. But that takes time. So I was happy with Fan the Flames. I thought he raced great. Both him and Real Willie on Thursday night. Redwood again, obviously we touched on Redwood. Redwood's gonna be treated up for a week, and we're gonna school him next Thursday and see if in fact those pimples, as we talked about, are playing the significant role that they likely are, I suppose. And if that's the case, if he goes out and schools great on Thursday with this medication, then what we're going to have to do is start. I guess I don't know where he's at in Jason's barn. I think he's in the middle of the barn. I would suspect closer to the door would be better. Change his bedding, maybe change his feed and see if we can't get those pimples cleaned up. But and he's very aware of the issue, and he was the one that come up with the treatment program for this week. So I think absolutely has a handle on it. And I think I'm very interested to see what's going to go on this Thursday, because another horse that has these pimples, not to that extent, but there is Promise Blue Chip. So if this is a real issue that's seems to be for some reason contained for the most part to these three horses, then I think it's very treatable. If that in fact is the case, that if that's why you see this regression from McKinnon and Redwood again, and a little bit with Promise Blue Chip. I'll loosely put her in that, but she's going to go Wednesday at London. She can't be treated in the same manner. So we'll see how they go. Those two horses respond this week, and I think that may change the direction for a few horses in the barn moving forward. Zeppelin B schooled well. Schooled well 3 weeks ago. Qualified abysmally, terribly. And scoped him, and he was sick. Put him on antibiotics for 10 days. Schooled him yesterday, Flamborough. Still sick. So, obviously, whatever was bothering him and ailing him was not treatable with the sulfamethoxazole, the very broad spectrum, if you will, broad spectrum antibiotic that we had him on. And he didn't respond that well. Though he wasn't horrible. I mean, he schooled okay, but you could still see he was 4 to 5 for mucus. So he needs to go on a different antibiotic. We put him on Xanel this week. The vet had texted Jason and said, listen, sulfa's not working. We'll put him on Xanel. There's a couple other horses in the area similar. The Xanel tend to clean it right up. So we put him on a little stronger antibiotic this week. I would suspect we'll school him again next Thursday, and he'll be good. The only shitty part was both Wind Chaser, who come up sick, and Zeppelin B were both eligible to the Hackett next week, as American League was. And although American League might not be good enough, we had every intention of just putting the three of them in the trailer and going to race in Miami Valley, and that's not going to happen now. So Zeppelin B won't be entered in the Hackett, neither will Wind Chaser or American League. American League will probably be a lot better off, I think, just staying here and racing in the Elmers. The last thing we want to do is be trucking horses, hundreds of miles to get their head kicked in. And there's 89 colts eligible to the Hackett still, and it just, this is the other thing, is that we beat our heads against the wall, like Promise Blue Chip last night. She went off the longest shot in the board, 28-1. We just can't do that. Can't send horses out on the track 28-1 and expect miracles to happen. So, and I know what had happened. Jason had entered the filly in the maiden, where she was above the class, so she had too much money for the class. But they went with a 7-horse maiden rather than opening up the class, which they've done plenty of times. It's not like this filly's going to go away 5-2, 2-1, 3-1. Promise Blue Chip would have been 8-1 in the maiden, and they chose not to use her in the maiden. They kept the entry and they stuffed her in the Nalmers at 2 or 15, where she was the longest shot on the board. So that stuff can't continue to happen. This is twice now it's happened, and I think that's the biggest thing. We go behind the gate with long shots and then say, geez, what happened? Yeah, the writing was on the wall. I mean, the gamblers aren't that stupid. They're not going to send you off last choice and miss something. So I think that's a big part of the problem also. That's not the same for Redwood, who went away favorite, or McKinnon, who probably went away 4 or 5-1, but it was the case with Promise Blue Chip last night. It played a huge role, I believe. So there's that. Conway Holiday raced terrible last night. Got some speed, this horse, but just can't seem to put it together on a consistent basis. And I own half of them with another client, nice guy, Derek, and I sent him a message after the race, and I said, no more. I can't keep going down this road with this horse. We sold a horse last week off Broadway who I think is every bit as good or better than Conway Holiday. And for me, it's April now. The babies are starting to go fast. The 3-year-olds have had their opportunity to sow their oats, and now they're going to have to lay in the bed they made. And I think that Conway Holiday is another horse that probably needs to go. So, I mean, the good news is there's always people out there looking for immature young trotters. Just not me. You know, we always look for them, but after 5, 6, 7, 8 starts, they're no good. Well, how can I justify to you to pay the bills, let alone to me? I should know better. So Conway Holiday, I think, is on his way out. I think he's raced his last race for thestable.ca. And I told Derek, I said, we can sell him, or you can take him, give him to somebody else if you want. But me and Conway Holiday are finished. And I think that I said to Jason said, try this or try that. I said, no, I don't want to try anything. I own half of them, and my half of them's not racing under this banner again. So that's just the way it is. I have no ill will towards the horse. I'm not angry at him. I wish he had done his work and focused a little more, but there's lots of horses out there just like that. I mean, Master Saver's in the same boat. I mean, these horses have got to come forward in a consistent manner, or they're not going to help us, them, or anybody out. And for me, it's pretty hard to race good horses in a consistent way when you constantly have bad horses racing also. And for people out there that are trainers or race horses, you know what I'm talking about. You got one bad horse in the barn, it seems to drain the goodness out of the whole barn sometimes. And I think Conway Holiday's had more than enough opportunities to do good, and he's chosen to do poorly. So his last 2 races, he raced good. I was very happy with the colt, and I think he'll make somebody an okay trotter someday. But we're not looking for okay horses. We have patience, and I believe we've afforded every opportunity for these horses to do better. And for the most part, they've chosen not to. So, like a mediocre employee, or your nephew that you hired at the store, if they don't want to put forth an effort at some point, they got to go. And I think Conway Holiday has punched his ticket here at the stable. So that's not the end of the world. As I said, I'm sure he'll make somebody a happy owner, just not me. So Conway Holiday, I think, will be exiting soon. Broadway Maya, we touched on her. She's been racing fantastic. We found a proper class for her. Now, we did move her up this week, but I think it was warranted. I think she deserved it. She raced fantastic 4 out of her last 5 starts. And that only start that she didn't race great, she was sick as a dog. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 for mucus, and finished last. So Broadway Maya has nothing to be ashamed of. I think she's been racing great, and she deserves a start at Woodbine. McKinnon, we touched on him. Again, he's another horse with pimples in the throat and some issues there in his airway that we're trying to deal with. And Buckeye Babe come out swinging. I said to one of our clients that I'll probably just school her this week. This was a filly that we took over to Mohawk on first qualifying day and went to school her, and she couldn't trot at all. She ran all over the track. The track is so deep over there right now. She's a little horse, so it was tough to get her through that plowed field. So 2 steps out of the gate, she run again going in the first turn. I just pulled her up and back to the paddock and said she's not playing today. Took her over to Flamborough a week later, and I'm like, should we school her? Should we qualify her? Put her into qualify. 2-1 last half and 59-4 last quarter in 30 seconds. Best mile of her life. Geez, I love this little filly. She tries her heart out every time she goes on the track. And that's the difference. She had the same issues that a lot of these horses had and have, and she overcomes them. Horses that want to do their work, that want to compete, that, and you don't have to be a great horse to impress me. Some of the most, what I would call impressive horses in my memory, weren't great horses. Other people may not even remember them, but I remember them because you could tell they try really, really hard every time they go on the track. And I love a horse that tries. Love a horse that wants to work. I work hard, you work hard, and I expect our horses to work hard. And that's a work ethic that we try to drive into them all the time. And you can't make them be something they're not. But Master Saver looks great. You can't make them something they're not. So Buckeye Babe, very, very happy with the Babe. Very impressive at Flamborough. Probably by that line, we'll probably thump the guts out of the maiden at London or Flamborough or first start out. So really pumped about what I saw from her. Real Willie. Now there is a story. Bought Real Willie when he was a baby. Thought he was the most beautiful horse we'd almost bought last year. Especially for what we paid. I don't think we only paid 12 or 13,000 for him. A friend of mine at the time, Dave Miola, and I bought him. Dave was bugging me to buy him at the sale, and And if it wasn't for Dave, I wouldn't have bought him because he went a little higher than I was willing to go. But really happy with what he looked like at the sale, and get him home. Jesus, for months and months, all he wanted to do was run. This is a pacer, and it got to the point where I just didn't want to be around him. I really had some disdain, if you will, for the animal, and didn't want to do anything with him. And it wasn't until his second schooler. First schooler, he looked okay. James went with him, babied him around, did a great job, got him around. Second schooler, he looked good, looked really good. So we put him in to go the first qualifier, and I wasn't going to go with him. You know, at this point, I hadn't gone with the horse in a long time, and I wasn't going to go with him. And James went with him, and the two schoolers he went with him. I went with him as first qualifier. James had somebody else's horse to go with or whatever, and I went with him, and man, oh man, I think he paced like 57 or 58 his first qualifier. His slowest mile of his life on record was a qualifier 2 weeks ago, 58-3, and I was down about how bad the track was at Mohawk and how deep it was, and that was his worst mile of his life. Every other mile before that, even when he made a break his last start last year, he still paced 57. So Rio Willie looked great qualifying. Little sick, so we gave him a week, trained him in between, got away in the 2-hole last night, Thursday night, Thursday night. Got away in the 2-hole, 27 seconds the first quarter, I think 28 seconds on the end of it. Windy, cold night, and he went a mile 55-1, I think, or 55-2. Just a nice horse. Just Wind Chaser. Wind Chaser was sick his first start. And we scratched him. And actually, I think Jason has a plan to take him over to Mohawk this morning. It's about 9:15 right now. I think around 9:30, 9:45, he was going to head over to Mohawk, and we were going to go train these two horses, which is good. That's good. Wind Chaser looked great qualifying. Just went an easy mile, come 29 seconds. He's going to probably be in next Thursday at Mohawk. Mohawk starting next Thursday. So first night at Mohawk, I think you'll see Wind Chaser in to go. He will miss the Hackett, but got a long year ahead of him. I'm not really going to... The Hackett's not going to make or break their 3-year-old career, so not a big deal there. Rose Run Speedster didn't get in last week. He is racing tonight against Meadowbrook Charlie at Woodbine in the $25,000 claimer. I think that's a decent class for him. I'd like to see him in where he can win instead of be like 8-10-1 on a good night. But raced pretty good in London to finish 5th. Kind of get jammed up. He was 3 wide around the last turn. Not really his forte, if you will, but raced well, I thought, in London. Indigo tonight. I hope he does good. Boston Glide, big winner last week. Raced awesome. Very, very proud of this colt. Got a long way to come, but still doing his work really well, and a good-looking colt in his own right. He's in to go tomorrow at Flamborough, looking for a second win in a row in the maiden there, and I think obviously the next trip will be 10 days later back at, or maybe 8 days later, back at Woodbine. If he wins tomorrow, he still fits the maiden at Woodbine, so that'll be great. Road Tripper, he's got some breaks on his program, but not many with the hobbles on. He was a 2-1 favorite last night Thursday night going behind the gate, and he made a break. There was a recall, and the race kind of gets screwed up at the start. And I think he's the type of horse you really got to have him on his toes going to the gate. And I did the first time around, and then he was a little bit keyed up, so I walked him, waiting for the guy to fix his equipment and come back on the track. And I just don't think he was in the same frame of mind, if you will, going to the gate, and that's my fault. I believe that maybe that had a big that played a big role in him making a break coming out of the gate. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. And who else do we got here? Meadowbrook Charlie racing tonight. I think you'll see an improvement out of Meadowbrook Charlie tonight. Obviously, you're not going to see this video until after he races, but I like what I see of this colt. He's put on some weight and looks great since he moved over to Kevin's, and I expect him to race well tonight. Pay the line. Blue Chip, my girl won last night. I torched her the week before and got in a bit of a speed duel the week before, and in hindsight, I think I could have handled it better. But it is what it is. She finished second the week before, I believe is the favorite. And then last night she was sent away big favorite, and I got cheap fractions with her. And, last week we went 27.58 and she walked. This week we went 31, 102, 2-3 last quarter in 30 seconds. And I laughed with Robert Shepard pulling up. I looked over, I said, gee, she had a lot more finish to her tonight. But I just walked her the first 3/8 of the mile. So that was good. Really happy to see that filly do good. Another overachiever, if you will, in the burn. So really, really happy with what I saw from Pay the Line Blue Chip last night. Stonebridge Hall, green light. Exactly what we've been waiting for. I got the green light from the veterinarian. He is going to be training down harder now. Here's Jason right here. So we will see Stonebridge Hall in the very near future. Really, really excited to see this colt back training in full stride. So we're here, we're doing the last little bit of racehorses. It's Saturday, we always get a lot of our clients in. Look, here's Garnet Burnsdale has dropped by. I'm gonna move this little tree out of the way. Garnet Burnsdale dropped by. We claimed a horse last night, and Garnet got a piece of that horse. Facing Justice.
Oh, gee, I hope my wife's not watching over there in the car live. She doesn't know yet.
No,
we didn't do that.
We'll get Curtis to edit it out. Anyway, claimed a horse last night, Facing Justice. Really, really excited about this. I mean, I'm not super excited. I always get a kick out of it, because we have so many clients. Client messaged me. So I had put on there, we were going to claim a horse 2 weeks ago. And I was an idiot. And, being Catholic, you'd think I know when Good Friday was. And I had all the money put there Thursday night. I never thought anything of it. It's sitting in my account. I said, I'll go take the money out and go claim that horse Friday. The banks are closed Friday, so I couldn't claim the horse. So I sent everybody an email and said, Jesus didn't want me to claim that horse tonight. So we didn't claim him. And then next Friday comes along, so that's last night, and everybody's like, you want to claim that horse? I watched him last week. His name was Spicy Victor. And he was claimed last night anyway. But I liked the horse that I saw race in that race, Facing Justice. And the last thing, we got 100 horses. I don't want to be going around claiming people's horses, but at the same time, we sold off Broadway. We sold maybe 4 horses in the last 2 weeks, and those people were wanting to get back into something, and they wanted to claim a horse. So a gentleman named Daryl Wisnowski from Illinois wanted to buy half of one right away, and said, I'll take half a horse you claim. And we had most of the horse spoke for, but I put it on there at like 140. We have like 19 shares left of this horse. If you'd like them, let me know. And it literally took, 7 minutes? 7 minutes, yep. And all those shares were gone. So we claimed the horse, and Kevin's got the horse down there, and seemed like he raced good, raced really well. Not very often you see 85 claimers make 3 moves in the mile, but he kind of left, and then he's out in the flow. He's 3 wide around the last turn. I thought the horse raced good, and it looks like he's going to be a good fit. So we had one of our clients call and say, why the hell are you claiming $8,500 claimers? You get a burn full of nice horses, and you're claiming 85 claimers. And I said, I don't think that everybody really understands what we're doing here. We're literally trying to give everybody an opportunity to get involved in horse racing and have fun. And not a lot of people want to buy 1% of a $60,000 horse. Some people would like to claim a horse and race that horse. And for me, we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to do just that. And we had people that wanted to claim an expensive claimer. There's just not around to claim. Everybody wants horses right now. So for me, I can continue to wait to claim a good horse or to buy a good horse, or I can get a horse that people can have fun with. I don't think anybody is of the illusion that Facing Justice is going to race in the Elite Lot or a 20 claimer, but he might bring some happiness to some people week in and week out that get to go to the track. And for the racetrack operators out there and the people that are watching this, that is what's so important, is that the people that own Facing Justice, I think there's 17 people in on that horse. Nice. The 17 people that claimed Facing Justice last night, they're coming to your tracks. If we race them in a 12 claimer at Woodbine next week, there'll be 14, 15 people at Woodbine that otherwise maybe not would be at Woodbine that night, or Mohawk, sure. I guess now, which is very important for the people at Mohawk. So that's what's important about this, this group and this model of fractional ownership, is that these people come to the racetracks. And I've been speaking it and preaching it and preaching it. And it seems like, it's great when people say, oh, you're doing a great job. Yeah, but the great job ain't going to fix the industry. I really find it frustrating that other people aren't doing this. Other people aren't trying to get people out to the races. Racetracks aren't helping marketing some of the smaller brands that are trying to do this. I think we do at the stable do a pretty good job getting the message out there and addressing it and connecting with the general public. But I think if the racetrack spent some money on marketing fractional ownership, I think it would be much better spent than trying to continue to convince people that have no interest in wagering on horse racing to come out and wager on horse racing.
Right.
Anyway, so facing justice, Garnet and 16 other people claimed him last night at London. He's going to be making his debut next week. I assume the plan is a 12-claimer at Mohawk, but I don't know if he can do in there or not. I have no idea. And he's a 9-year-old, so I don't think Kevin's going to come out and blister him this week and train him. So I think it's really just going to be good old-fashioned horsemanship, take really good care of the horse. And by all accounts, he came from a very, very good place. I believe the girl's name was Evelyn, and the horse in great shape. So obviously she does a great job with her horses also. So that's that. Dancing at Midland, as I said, touched on Willie. Dancing at Midland was sick last week when he was full of mucus. Now, considering how well Willie raced after an okay qualifier full of the same type of mucus, you might want to keep a close eye on what class Dancing at Midland is in and how it looks, because there's a colt that was ready to go big mile before the other night and scoped very, very sick after the race. So he's never come off his feed, so obviously it's not affecting him in that manner, which is a big deal. So he's going to probably get a week off, train him on Monday, and be into Thursday. So a week from Thursday, you'll see him back in to go at Mohawk likely. And he's ready to go, that colt. So I think once we get him cleaned up, you'll see a difference. Tortola Sunrise, we schooled him. I schooled him for Kevin on Thursday at Flamborough. Made a little break, but he'd been off a month and the track was rock hard. I wasn't really that shocked. But that horse always comes out swinging. It seems like he knows when it's race time. So I expect he will be very, very good. Very, very good his first start back. I think it'll probably be in either the condition claimer at Flamborough or the straight 10 to 15, likely in for 15. 7-horse field last week, so he'll probably draw the outside. But I don't think that'll matter to him. I think he's a little bit better than him. Hopefully he should be, but he will be a little bit short. Master Saver, as I said, just watched him train 2 minutes ago. I'm watching Beck's Pride. That's Beck's Pride over there training in the bike now. He's in to go Wednesday at London. He hurt himself in the stall a month ago, and we haven't had a chance to get him back in. So his first start back in almost a month will be Wednesday at London. He's an okay colt. He tries. He feels like he tries. But he has to do a lot more work. Got a beautiful gait, so we're really just hoping he keeps coming forward. It looks good there, though.
Yeah, it does.
It looks real good there. So hopefully, I can't imagine he'll be that good on Wednesday, being off a month and only having this training trip fast. But we'll see. You can always be optimistic, and you never really know what's going to happen. So Delmar J missed this week. He's got some issues, that horse. He's always sore, but he's so tough. Kevin does a real good job keeping him patched up and keeping him healthy and comfortable. And, I'm glad he didn't have him in tonight, because a track like this over Flamborough would really, really be detrimental for Delmar J, I think. So a week off here and there, and a week off this week especially, would be was very, very fortunate for him. Happy holidays training back. I didn't really check in with Kevin yet to see how far away she is. I would assume a couple of weeks. She's been in for over a month. Here's Windchaser. I'm going to take him over and train him this morning. I'm going to train, as I'm circling back to Windchaser, he's just on the track here getting ready to train. I'm going to probably go a mile in 58 or 59 at Mohawk with him this morning if he can. He should be ready to go next week. And finally, well, no, not finally. We had a few more. But Leroy's Dream is finally back. Injured himself last year, broke a bone, tore a suspensory, all the time off he needed. He's back in to go tonight. He's probably going to need a couple of starts, but Brett McDonald's driving him in the third race at Flamborough. I love Leroy's Dream. Now, back to what I'd said originally at the start about horses that are mediocre that impress me. Leroy's Dream's always impressed me, just because he tries, he wants to go. God didn't really gift him with a great body, if you will. Symmetrically, he's not put together the greatest, but he wants to do it. And loves his work. So I really like racing him. Unfortunately, I can't drive him tonight. I'm going to be at Woodbine, but I'll be watching. You can be sure of that. Now the 3 big ones this week. Canali, Hanover, Lawmaker, Cruising in Style. Everybody keeps asking about them. You're on Facebook. You saw Lawmaker train the other day. I didn't tell everybody I'd went in 2 minutes with him at the farm, but I trained him right here in 2 minutes, come off in 57-3 last week. He's a couple weeks away probably from schooling, qualifying. And then we have Canali, Hanover. I trained Canali, Hanover by himself yesterday in 59 at Mohawk in the snow. Nice. Trained great. And Cruising in Style, I didn't tell anybody this. Cruising in Style, I trained him in 57-3 by himself on Wednesday, maybe.
He looked phenomenal there. When
he
looked so good.
Yeah, he's a nice horse, and he's really, really coming along well. He's got a big stake race in New York on May 11th, I think, the Empire Stakes. So we're trying to get him. He's got a bigger frame, so Lawmaker's just so quick and fluid. You know, you just turn him on and he's on. Well, Cruising in Style, he's gonna take a couple of weeks to really get that muscle on him where he needs to be, and he really matures a little bit slower physically than Lawmaker, and you can tell looking at them beside each other in the barn. Lawmaker looks like a linebacker, and Cruising in Style looks good, but you can still tell there's a lot of growth going on there. So all 3 trained fantastic this week. All 3 look like they're coming back good, and that, as they say, is that is the racehorse portion of our update for this week. We're going to start in on the babies after a while. I have to go down to the barn. I have to train 3 horses. And then I have to scoot over to Mohawk and train Wind Chaser in the bike. And then I will get to getting these videos. Now, Curtis is gone away. He's going to Las Vegas this afternoon. Imagine, life of Riley, eh? He's going to Las Vegas this afternoon. So I don't know if he's going to be able to put any of the fancy stuff in with the videos and whatnot, because he doesn't have his editing equipment, obviously, with him in Las Vegas. But I'm sure he can chop the videos up and have them loaded. If you don't have them, I don't know why I'm telling everybody this. They're watching the video now. If you didn't get this Monday morning, you should have got it Monday afternoon or in the evening, just because of the long lag time. I know when I put these videos up on Dropbox, so Curtis can pull them off and chop them up and do whatever the hell he does with them, it's like 4 hours.
Wow.
When I load like the hour and 28 minutes of videos last week, it took like 4 hours for Curtis to get them in a Dropbox. So, and then it takes another 4 hours almost for him to edit them and then put them on YouTube. It takes about 4 hours before it hits YouTube. So you're looking at 8 hours of lag time between, start to finish.
Yeah.
So I hope he has them done, but Curtis is Curtis. He does the best he can, but I can't expect him. He's going to be doing this stuff in Las Vegas, so it's not really fair to him either. But I do appreciate it, and very lucky to have his talents here for sure.
Absolutely.
So what's new with you?
Not much, man. Just working in my several jobs, and
yeah,
I got a few writing assignments on the go, and it's always nice to come out here and see the horses.
Coming out on Mother's Day?
Absolutely.
Everybody, Mother's Day. We already have like 85 people RSVP'd, and it's a month away. So we had about 400 people here last year. I think we're going to have more this year. We haven't advertised for it or marketed it very much. It was funny. I talked a beverage company in Markham to sending us a bunch of bottles of this drink. It's called Fever Tree. It's ginger ale. I like it. It's really good. And I sent them an email. I just sent them an email. I'm like, listen, I like your product, and we're having this big open house. And they emailed me back there. They said, yeah, we're going to send a bunch of stuff out to you.
Nice.
So that's cool. We're going to charge $1 pop, and we're going to donate it to OSAS. We're going to match it dollar for dollar. So we should be able to raise, and hopefully have some donations here. It'd be nice if we could raise a couple $1,000s for OSAS. We had the thing at Christmas where we got all that food money for the food bank in Guelph, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
And I think Mother's Day is going to be really, really cool this year. So we're going to watch some more horses train. I didn't see King of the Ball yet. Who else are you waiting for?
Ivanka, Candy Mac, and Too Far Gone.
Ivanka, her knees are a little weak. I don't know if I want them training Ivanka on the slow track.
That's okay.
So actually, I'm glad you said that. I want to get down and make sure that they don't train her today. I just want to jog her today. They've all been going really hard for the past 2 weeks. So any of the horses that have any sort of issues, I want them just to go easy today, especially on this track. So there's Airway training there. Ivanka, yeah. So she's not going to train. Who's the other two?
Candy Mac and Too Far Gone.
They're both going to train, yeah.
Okay.
Danny should be coming out with Too Far Gone soon, I would imagine. And Candy Mac, I haven't seen him yet, but I just got here half an hour ago. Anyway, so that's the racehorse portion. A little dialogue between Garnet and I, and we are going to, well, I'll be moving into the yearlings later on, probably in a few hours' time, when I get my work here cleaned up. So, had a decent week racing. Looking forward to some great racing in the future. Polishing up the barn, weeding out the rough edges, so to speak. And we are shaping up for a great summer here at thestable.ca. Anyway, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, man.
And I am going to be back to you soon.